Beware Pokémon masters. The quest to catch them all is leading a lot of Pokémon Go players to download malicious fake apps. This is the latest example of developers creating bootleg apps to take advantage of people caught up in the Pokémon craze. Joining us now to discuss is WSJ Assistant News Editor Nathan Olivarez-Giles. Hi, Nathan. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
So Google has already removed some of the malicious apps. How did they come to Google's attention?
Yeah, well, Google runs some of its own reviews of applications after they've been submitted to its Google Play App Store. So they found some of them on their own. Others were flagged by different security researchers. Over the weekend, there was a group called ESET Limited that actually flagged 3 different applications, and there are a few different firms that do this regularly. One I spoke to does it as often as every week.
And so, Nathan, what kinds of problems do these fake apps cause?
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of them that are malicious anyways will actually take over your phone to run different sorts of malware. So one of them, called Pokémon Go Ultimate, which was a fake Pokemon app, and it was in the Google Play Store before being taken down this weekend, it would actually lock people out of their phone, and then it would go into pornography websites in the background and click through ads.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, really not cool at all. So the only way to get out of that was to actually go onto a website that Google has to reboot your phone altogether.
And so why would an app developer create a bootleg app like that? Is there any monetary gain?
Yeah, there can be monetary gain. In different instances, they can click through some of their own ads and basically create ad revenue for themselves that way. Other times they're scraping information from your phone, and they can have access to, you know, the things that you're typing into your phone or sensitive information, and they can use that private data to maybe steal your identity or, you know, sell that data you know, in the black market, things like this.
Certainly scary stuff, Nathan. So what kinds of red flags should users be on the lookout for when downloading these apps?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing really is to know what you're downloading. If you hear about Pokemon Go and you just want to get in on the craze and you open up your app store and there's like a dozen different choices, take that moment to kind of calm down and really realize what it is that you're looking for. This happens every time there's a big app that comes out. This happened with Angry Birds. This happened with Words with Friends. This happened with Candy Crush. And now we're seeing it with Pokemon Go. So right now in Google's own Google Play Store, there are still about a dozen different Pokemon apps there. Those that are left are said to not be malicious, but there's a bunch of stuff that you just don't really need, like little user guides and kind of companion apps.
Right, and of course it can change from day to day, right?
Yeah, there are, literally millions of apps in these app stores, and hundreds of thousands, if not, thousands are showing up every day for these companies to review, for Google and Apple to review. And it's not easy to keep up with everything. Google has a little bit less stringent check policies than Apple does before an app will make its way to the public. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit more risk there, but they're doing their best to really look through all of these things and keep up with it all. But yeah, they're flooded with apps that are submitted.
So aside from taking a deep breath and looking at your choices with a clear head, what are some other safety tips for people who are enjoying the Pokemon craze right now?
Well, a big one is to pay attention to the permissions that the app asks for. For Pokemon, you're going to need to give it permission to use your camera. You're going to need to give it permission to use your location, things like that. But if an application is asking for, say, full access to your email address or your contacts book, and it doesn't really make sense to do that, it's not an email app, for example, then that's a red flag. Pay attention to what you're giving permission to this app to do. And you'll see like a little box that'll pop up, whether you're on an iPhone or Android, that will let you know what you're sharing with that application. So that's a big place to start. Another thing to look out for is whether or not the app icon changes or disappears once you download that app. Follow up once you've downloaded that app, make sure it's there, and if things look kind of shady or off, that's a big red flag, because that often happens with malware. Very
good advice. So now then, what do you do if you've somehow accidentally downloaded one of these fake apps? Are you stuck?
You're not stuck. One thing, this is actually a great reminder to always back up your phone pretty regularly. So if you're backing up your phone, you can wipe it clear. You can just erase the entire thing and then restore from a backup from a few days ago in the event that you ever need to do that. And in some cases with malware, you will have to. Sometimes it's as simple as deleting that app. But oftentimes these apps will hide themselves and kind of change the name, change the icon, bury themselves in the background so you don't even notice. So one of the best things you can do is do that factory reset and then back up, from a backed up version of your phone.
Great advice. You don't want to have a little fun turn into a digital nightmare for you, right? Thank you. Thank you for that, Nathan.
My pleasure.